Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey and I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Happy Friday everyone, glad you're joining me. As usual on Friday we talk about tech news and or browsers, primarily browsers lately. And we're going to continue that tradition today, even though I haven't been talking about copyright news very much, mostly because I've been away in the United Kingdom for so long. But since I'm back, we're going to keep the tradition alive, and besides big news in the browser world, Safari 6 was released as part of OS X Mountain Lion. I touched on it briefly in yesterday's video as part of the larger talk on the Mountain Lion, but definitely wanted to talk about it in more detail today, especially after having had 2 full days of using exclusively Safari 6, and gotta be honest, I really don't feel like I've got the full review in my head. I don't really know what I'm going to say. This is going to be as much a surprise to me as it is to you, because with most browsers, 2 days is plenty of time to know what I love, what I hate, and where I think it could improve. Safari, it's not really been enough, I don't think. It's odd. Here's the deal. With Safari 5.2, I think it's Safari 5.2, that's the one that came with Lion, I used a kind of a boyfriend slash girlfriend analogy. Basically, I said that Safari was the really sexy, really hot, really fun to be around, really great in bed, the awesome boyfriend and or girlfriend, and I'm not here to judge, that you love and just enjoy every moment with, but there's some kind of serious problem that prevents them from being marriage material. They're bad with money, they're compulsive liars, something is wrong, and you kind of have to settle for a more, I don't want to say homely, but a more ordinary person. And Safari 6, to continue that analogy, is this person coming back in your life saying, but look dear, I've changed. I'm different now. I'm not that person I was in 5.2. I've made serious changes underneath. I'm a different person inside. And to its credit, Safari has. The stability, because the issue I had with 5.2 was that it basically I said it was fast, it was wonderfully snappy to use, great extension support. The extension library, though not the largest, had everything I needed hands down, and generally was a lot of fun to use, but that after using it for a certain period of time, especially after opening, closing, and keeping a lot of tabs open, it would become unstable, it would start the pinwheel, it would start to crash, and that made it unusable. Well, Safari 6 seems to have largely addressed that issue. I've used it for 2 days, and I went well over 1 day of heavy use without any significant problems, any significant stability, and I was ready to come on here and just give it a completely rave review. But last night, as I was doing some work, it really began to sputter, and eventually it totally and completely crashed, all the way up to the little, please report this crashed Apple screen. I think it has something to do, and this is why I'm not 100% sure what I should be saying here, but it seems like it has something to do with Mail, honestly, because whenever I try to open up Mail, because hey, I'd like to dabble with that too, I mean, it's got new features, I'd like to play with it, but every time I open it, Safari begins to have issues, pretty serious ones. It begins, like I said, to go back to its sputtering, pinwheeling, crashing ways. But when it's not open, and when I don't open it at all, Safari remains pretty quick and brisk for long, long periods of time, and that's just it. Safari, when it's at its best, Safari 6, when it's at its best, it's the fastest browser on Mac, and it appears to be the most stable and the most fun to use. I mean, it's a really, really solid browser overall. Now, that being said, I'm not totally rah-rah Safari. There are several key issues I have with it. The biggest being that there's a lot of user-facing features it lacks. And the biggest, frankly, is high-quality tab management. I mean, let's just go down the list here. On the tab management front, there are no pin/app tabs like you get with Chrome, Firefox, Opera. Even Internet Explorer has done this kind of bizarre implementation of it. You don't have that. Tab overflow is still handled atrociously, though they try to fix it somewhat by that little pinch to view the tabs and you swipe through. It's cool, but it doesn't really address the tab management issue. And third, there's no favicons inside the tabs. So if you have a lot of tabs open and you're unsure which you need, you're probably going to have to do the pinch and swipe thing, and it's inefficient when there's my email and click it. Or even better, if I have pin tabs, I would know it would be over to the far left, and I'd have immediate access to it. Um, so yeah, it lacks a lot of front-facing features that I consider very important, and makes me kind of itchy to switch back to Chrome and have those features back. But, and the odd thing is there's actually no excuse for this. Glimpse, which by the way does not seem to work with Safari 6, I had to uninstall it. But Glimpse has had the fav icons and the tabs for a long, long time. That's been for years. And, you know, there's no reason why they can't do pen tabs. There's no reason why they can't fix tab overflow. And the other thing I forgot to mention is if you're trying to close a large volume of tabs, like you've got 6 tabs you want to get rid of, no simple streamlined way to do it. I mean, Chrome, you can right click and, you know, say close tabs to the right, or if you're just the type that wants to sit there and click, it will fold the tabs in such a way that you never have to move your mouse and just go click, 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 and they all die. Here, it's click, move, click. It's annoying, it's minor. I mean, how often do you really close more than a couple of tabs at a time? Well, okay, I do it at least twice a day. But the point is, it's not something that is a deal breaker necessarily, but it's also very embarrassing. And when people talk about why Chrome or Firefox better than Safari, these are the things they can trivially point to. But still, I mean, as far as the basic function of a browser when it's not having trouble, which, like I said, seems to be related to either iPhoto or Mail, I'm not sure which, um, it works. It's great. It's fast. It's really snappy, especially if you're using the touchpad scroll. Incredibly smooth. I love the reader feature, and I love its implementation. Overall, it's a very, very, very cool system, and it works very well. So I'm very happy with it, but you know, I really wish it could nail down some of these final issues and become truly the best browser on Mac. Right now, it's merely kind of in contention for it, and it more or less depends on what features you need out of a browser. Personally, I'm rather enjoying my time with Safari. I think I'm going to give it another day or two, see if it continues to grow on me, or if it finally begins to wear thin. Also, I'm going to track and see if I can cause more of these crashes. Honestly, I don't know, but it's pretty interesting to use, and I've got to say, I've already gotten a lot more mileage out of this one than I did out of the previous one in the entire time I had it. So that's saying something right there. So I guess that's my final thoughts on Safari 6 for Mountain Lion. I'll probably talk about it more later in future browser talks. But until then, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.